I want to get your guys' thoughts on the Cubs and the offseason that's gone on so far. This
Yeah,
has just been dude, Chicago sports just feels dead right now. I feel dead inside.
yeah.
Like there's just not really a bunch of hope right now. Like
Unless you're a
I
White
mean, other
Sox
than
fan.
like unless you're a White Sox fan, there's not
Yeah.
much. Maybe the Bulls, like
But they're
they're
still
kind of
two
fun to
years
watch.
out. Yeah, they're
They're
still
still
like,
a little
yeah.
far out, but like you're always hopeful about them at this point.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Ah, man, the Cubs, like I don't know what's going on in the north side right now. It feels like they're penny pinching, like they're cutting down, like they're just above the Cubs or the White Sox right now on payroll. They're just cutting salary. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like what do you guys think?
Well, I saw this article and I wish I read it more. I was kind of like busy and shit, but the league, I think it was like in the 80s and the 90s. I think it was the 90s. The Dodgers were like a half a mil or like 50 million or $500 million in debt or some shit. And the league made the owner sell the Dodgers. And the Cubs right now are like $1 billion in
Yeah,
debt.
yeah, I
So
saw
people
that.
are saying like, dude, they might make Ricketts sell the team because there's no, you're $1 billion in debt. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. And the reason why I think that, like, just like claims I've heard out there, like you said, Blake, they're $1 billion in debt because they did all this expansion and
Yep.
remodeling of Wrigley Field and Wrigleyville. Like,
Yep.
they focused on the business part of it, and like, I like the improvements that they made. I think it was definitely needed.
Oh, 100%.
But now it's taking away, like you're in so much debt. The pandemic happened. They weren't expecting the pandemic to
Yeah.
happen. Like nobody was.
Right.
And now they're like, shit, we probably owe we owe all this money. Like, where are we going to cut costs and how can we do it quickly? Oh, we'll just sell off pieces and, not sign guys. And
Yep.
I think they have more money than what they're saying that they can invest in the team, but
I
they're
do
saying
too.
that they're crying poor, which it sucks. Like Lester, like getting like an unfair offer at the last minute and
Yeah.
just letting him go. Like if you keep him, like I don't think. I mean, he eats up innings, and like I'm fine with like letting Lester go. Like we need to get other people opportunities, and he throws 90, 89. Like we need more high velocity guys in.
Right.
But at least like be upfront about it. Be like, hey John, we're moving on from you. Like we thank you for everything that you did here, but we're gonna like try to get younger people in here, like younger players an opportunity. I think they could have sent it like did it a lot better
Right.
because John Lester's the best Cubs free agent signing of
Oh.
all time, hands down.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
so far that is 100% accurate.
Probably top two Chicago free agent of all time.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
I
him and Marion
mean,
Hossa.
yeah, he just had a huge impact on the team, and it sucks that we weren't able to like see him like leave and finish his last game in a Cubs uniform. So hopefully when he comes back as a Nat and there's fans, like he can get the proper send off. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
dude, it just stings this offseason. It stings.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
feel
just
like
deflated.
feel my yeah for real. Like I'm I get like trading you Darvish if you're gonna sell high. I don't like the trade for you Darvish just to cut his salary out
Right. That makes
because
no
he
sense.
he got his trade value back by being an ace or a Cy Young contender
Mm-hmm.
and finished like second or third. So he got his value back, so you can trade him. But you just trade him for a bunch of underwhelming prospects just to get his contract off the
Bunch
books.
of like 17
Like
year olds.
yeah, like come on, give me some top prospects. I
Right.
can't say anything about those prospects because I mean they haven't proven anything yet. But like you got to
Yeah.
get a top
Yeah.
100 prospect from that trade, and they didn't get shit.
Just from like
They
a
got Zach Davies. Like he throws 80
just
8
from
miles per
like
hour.
a PR standpoint, it's like obviously fans are gonna see you didn't get shit for him, so it's just like everybody's pissed and rightfully so.
And
It's
they
like
should be pissed because he contradicted himself literally, the week before he traded him away. There was an article released about him actually saying, I wouldn't trade you Darvish for Babe Ruth. I swear that's in quotes somewhere.
I believe
Someone
it.
needs to like actually find that. I know I saw it.
I believe it.
And he turns around, and the next week they traded him away. And we all are obviously we're talking about it now. Looking at the prospects, didn't get a single top 100 prospect out of the trade. It got 40 players. It's like you just said you wouldn't trade for Babe Ruth, but you're going to trade him for these four unproven like just prospects that aren't even top prospects. Like what in the
I
actual?
guess
bleep are you doing?
The only thing you can fucking hope for is if it's like a Fernando Tatis, and like because when the White Sox traded him, he wasn't a top 100 prospect. Nobody knew about him. He was like 17 years old. They traded him for James Shields, and then he developed into an all like a super like potential face of the league player, transcendent player.
Yep.
We can only hope for that, but I mean, odds are that happening are very small.
That's a shot
Oh
in the
man,
dark.
So-
we're knees praying for that because that was a stupid idea. I don't know about the Cubs crying broke. They have the moves they've made. I'm okay with letting John Lester.
Well, dude,
walk
Schwarber's
away.
gone. Like Schwarber's getting $8 million a year. You could have or he's making 10. Like we could have signed him for arbitration for 8, and he's just gone. Like we could have got him for less than what market value is.
Or we
Like
could have traded his ass
We could
a
trade
year
him.
ago.
The smart thing would have
Like-
been to trade him like within the last 2 years, and they just never did it. And I mean, granted, maybe you weren't going to get what you wanted for him.
But like
but
if you're trying to, they
nothing
say
out of it.
they say they're trying to compete, but they're just going to let him walk and not pay him $8 million or whatever the offer that was
Right.
they had for him. Their outfield is garbage. They have Ian Happ and Jason Hayward. Like who else is going to play out there?
Well, with all due respect, I mean, Kyle Schwarber is not going to improve your outfield. So
Yeah, but he
he
can
might
hit you 30
improve
home
your-
runs a year.
he might improve your batting lineup a little bit with
Here's the thing.
some
I think the
homers
Cubs-
and
I think
RBIs,
the
but
Cubs
that's about
fucked
it.
up his development. I think I think they tried to get too much out of him. They put him in the leadoff role. They tried to make him a contact hitter. Let him be what he is. He's a power hitter. I think honestly, I like him being on the Nationals. Like with like him and Juan Soto and
Yeah.
Trey Turner. I think they'll allow him to be the player that he wants to be, and he can kind of be like a slugger again. I mean, he's a 30 home run guy. I think he can potentially get to 40. I mean, he hit 38. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Whatever. Like. I like Kyle Schwarber. Like at one point, it was clear that this team wasn't gonna win with the core that they had, and they needed to sell off pieces, but they waited too long and they never did it. And they try to run it back every year, and it blew up in their faces, which fucking sucks.
It really did. Well, they kind of pieced it together like a makeshift Picasso painting. Honestly, they just kind of threw a whole bunch of things at it and they let it splat, and it meshed together well for a season, well, 2 seasons really. And then once obviously the aging pieces kind of started to fade off, and you could see the holes in the team, and then of course some bad contracts, and it goes all down the toilet within 2 seasons.
The
That's
Quintana
exactly what
trade.
happened.
The Quintana trade fucked us.
And yeah,
Quintana trade sucked.
that destroyed our outfield. There's our outfield piece we're missing right now. You got him over in the other side of town
Yep.
for Jose
Well, not to
Quintana.
mention just that, but Dylan Cease, like he's our best pitching prospect we had during the Theo Epstein era. Like he throws 97 consistently, can reach 100. You know, that would be our top pitching prospect right now. Like that'd be another pitcher we can be excited about. So, yeah, that trade is for every thing that they got right. They got half a thing or one thing wrong. I mean, I guess you could say like hindsight's 2020, but I mean they wanted Schwarber for Chapman, and we said no, and we gave up Torres. 2020 says trade Schwarber, give me Chapman for Schwarber, and then you keep a young star like Gleyber Torres. I couldn't imagine this team with Gleyber Torres and Eloy Jimenez right now. That would be. I would feel so much better about the situation.
It would be nuts if we had both of those guys, or maybe even one of them. Honestly, it's unreal. Not to mention even that we don't even have to discuss the Addison Russell thing that went down. So it's like,
Right.
just
That
this has
fucked
turned into a
us.
complete disaster, man.
Yep.
I mean, I don't blame the Cubs for that because you can't really foresee that happening, and nobody in the dugout said they ever thought like something like that would happen. Baseball wise, he was a good player. Like he's solid. He wasn't great offensively, but he could drive in runs and he can hit home runs. But yeah, that whole situation, everything that wrong could happen for the Cubs happened. It
Yep.
feels like.
All for
It does.
just One
All
ring.
for 1 year. Hey, that's all we needed was 1 year. We just needed to get the monkey off the back, but it had so much potential, and I think I've said this many times, but the Cubs might be the biggest disappointment after a championship too, just
Oh,
because of the
Fuck yeah.
hype and the. I've never been more excited about a franchise, and this is even in regards to the Blackhawks when they were good. I've never been more excited about a team than I was the Cubs back in the early mid 2000 teens, because
Yeah.
the potential they had with the talent that they had in their organization coming up through the ranks was just like dumbfounding. So many top prospects, so many players you knew were going to blossom into great players, and then
Yep.
we all know everything fumbled away. So
It's going to be interesting to see how they get out of this mess, if they even do.
yep, and that's crazy. And now they got articles blossoming out there about Chris Bryant not liking baseball right now because of the whole idea of him talking about being traded over the offseason. And it's just it seems to be getting worse, not getting better. It's going the wrong direction.
It's a fucking shit show. Well, everybody's contract's up after this season, so you could,
Is Jason Hayward's contract up? Isn't it 2022?
He's got like 3 or 4 more years left.
yeah.
He's got 3 years after this.
I think he's 2024.
Oh my! I thought it was 22.
But I know KB and Javi are up after this year, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think for sure they're up after this season.
But yeah, I think last time you were over, Brad, we looked it up, and when Jay Hayes' contract is up,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
I
it's
do remember we talked about
24. So
that. Some stupid year like that. Yeah,
I got another 3
2024.
seasons.
Unbelievable.
That contract too. I mean,
Yeah, that hurt. That hit hard.
I just wish offensively he was better.
100%. 100%.
Because I feel like
No,
even the year before he came to the Cubs when he was on the Cardinals, I feel like he would shit on us all the time, hitting home runs and doubles and shit.
I just don't understand. I don't know who his hitting coach was back in the day, but whoever it was, he needs to get that guy back. Because I think I laugh when I kind of show people his rookie highlights, and you look at his swing and the way he held the bat and the way he would actually make contact with the ball. It was completely different the way he's making contact with the ball and has for the last 5
Are you talking about
years.
Jason Hayward?
Talk about Jason
Yeah.
Hayward. Like honestly,
he's
everyone-
one of our best
everyone's-
offensive players. He made some adjustments this past year. I think he's one of our best offensive players.
he's
Surprisingly,
made
this past year.
adjustments, but he still looks like somebody who shouldn't even be batting left-handed. He still looks like he should be batting right-handed because he looks so god awful awkward at the plate when he's swinging. It's terrible. I don't even know. I've never seen a swing that unorthodox and just awkward in my life. I don't know how it's going to be successful. Granted, yeah, okay, he batted I think he did average close to 300 last year, but that's a first. He's been averaging 240, 250s his entire
And-
career.
He was always a better hitter than, I mean, especially the first few years we had him. I know that he only hit 260 the year that he was on the Cardinals. He was never a high average hitter. I think like the main part of his game is he's going to play Gold Glove defense. He's going to run the bases well, and I guess he can give you a good hit every now and then. But I mean that contract definitely hampered the Cubs. I mean that's $184 million. Who knows where that money would go, whether it's sign another big free agent or, we'd have contract extensions done right now for like a Chris Bryant or, a Rizzo or a Baez, because that money could have gone elsewhere for like one of those extensions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a shit show up there on the north side for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely not what I envisioned, guy. Like Brad said, like when this first, like I remember being so hyped, like, oh, we got Theo Epstein. Like,
Yep.
There's hope now. And then he started rebuilding the farm system. Like, I was like, this is going to be sweet. But one thing, like, he can never get pitching down. I was surprised that he never drafted pitching, or like never drafted pitching well, never developed guys. And right now, like, we've got no guys that can like throw like high velocity. Today's MLB is high velocity, and we don't really have anybody like that. Like, our starting rotation this year looks garbage.
It's just
Like,
Hendricks.
It's Hendricks and Zach Davies, who's like a number 4 pitcher, like on his staff, like
Right.
maybe a number 3 at best. But so he throws 88 like Hendricks. So we've got 2 pitchers in our our number 1 and number 2 throw 88 miles an hour like max.
And they're at Wrigley, a super
Yeah, and then
very home run
we got-
friendly ballpark.
We got Alzolay going out there. Like, he's an older prospect to this point.
Yeah.
He hasn't provided much. Like, I've always wanted to see him do well. Braylon Marquez is kind of like the only really thing I'm looking forward to. Like, he's still young and he throws 99, 100 miles an hour. Outside of that, like, who else is on this roster that's like, going to be in the rotation? Hendricks, Davies, Albert Alzolay. Who else? I don't know. Like, it's going to be they say they're going to be competitive and try to win the division, but how can you win the division if that's like your starting rotation?
Well, I think I just say that because they don't really know where they're going for the future and what they're planning to do yet. They're still trying to figure that out, especially with Theo walking away and Jed taking over. So we'll say we'll try to be competitive, but I think they're just trying to make up their minds right there at this point.
My theory is that the pandemic happened. They lost, money. They didn't get revenue that they expected. So they're going to try to shave salary. They're going to be bad probably the next few seasons, draft high in these drafts, and then eventually start spending again once, the team's good enough to actually throw money into.
It's gonna be interesting to see what Jed does, though. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually kind of excited for Jed to take over
because we need how much control does he have?
Right. It's all Ricketts.
Because it sounds like Ricketts doesn't want them to be competitive because, they're $1 billion in debt. Like, you're kind of – and I think that's part of the reason why Theo wanted to get out of there a year early. I mean, he's always said he wanted to do 10 years, but he's like, I don't want to make decisions for this franchise in the future if it's not going to mean anything. Like, like the Ricketts probably were thrilled to get his $10 million salary off because of the pandemic. And, he's like, all right, well, my time's done here. Like, I accomplished the goal that I came here for. And I guess they were both, I don't blame Theo for doing what he did.
I don't either.
And it looks like he's going to try to be commissioner of baseball. He's joining the MLB, staff.
He should be commish.
That'd be sweet. Yeah. I would love that. He is a baseball savant, and he enjoys the game.
Yep.
I would love to just be in a room and have a conversation with the guy and just listen to what he has to say about baseball. I think that would be so interesting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have a conversation about why he signed Jason Hayward to $184 million, but that's whatever. I'm just kidding. It would be cool to talk to the guy, but I just to piggyback off of the dream scenario because I love living in dreamland once in a while, especially for the Cubs of what could have been. But did you see the Bleacher Nation article about them releasing the opportunity of how much excitement and how much oh my God, I might just blank out his name. What's going on here? Bryce Harper actually wanted to play for the Cubs. Yeah. Did you see that article?
Yep.
And how much he just would like to have made it, that the Cubs made an effort to sign him. Like, could you imagine if we had KB and Bryce Harper and the rest of the team that we had surrounding with those guys at the time? Like, wow.
Yes, we would have been the Dodgers are now.
Yeah, we really would be.
Bryce Harper is he's a great player. Like, he's been playing well, but man, 13 years, $330 million. I don't think that hasn't paid off. That hasn't paid off for the Phillies so far, in my opinion. I think he's still a great player, but man, that's a big ticket.
Well, yeah, it's a huge ticket. But I mean, think about it this way: he probably wouldn't have gotten that with the Cubs, and it sounds to me like he would have settled for a little less with the Cubs if we had made a sizable offer in that ballpark.
Well, so here comes the Ricketts again, I think, and just not approving because to be honest, we have to be honest, I think that Theo and Jed wanted to make bigger moves than they've been able to in recent seasons, but it all comes down to ownership and whether or not they approve it and they want to spend that money. I think they've been hampered, and it sucks that.
Sucks we'll never know is really the big thing that comes down to who's really the one that not screwed it up but is making the final call and decision, because should be Theo,
the guy who's writing the checks, and that's what's going to happen. I mean, I think he let Theo do things until in terms of signing contracts. I feel like that's where he kind of got in, especially towards the later years.
I'm just hoping, I don't know, 3 or 4 years we are at least
competitive again.
I guess we kind of are competitive, but I just playoffs.
Yeah, well, the problem is
actually winning in the playoffs.
It's like the Bears right now, right? We're very middle of the pack again with the Cubbies, and they're going in the wrong direction. So I understand.
Ownership-wise, we're way better than the fucking Bears. I would much rather be in the Cubs.
The Cubs just won a World Series. The Bears, well, they haven't done shit. So we don't.
I have faith in Jed Hoyer. Like I said, I think we're just going to be retooling, rebuilding these next few years. Getting high draft picks, getting top end talent, and I think I'm excited to see Jed build a team. Like, he's been working with Theo Epstein his entire career.
Right. That's
a good dude to learn stuff underneath. And now he gets his opportunity to shine. Like he's in total control. Like total control. I mean, other than this year, hopefully, like when he's allowed to sign free agents in the future,
Right.
we'll see what happens. But it'll be interesting. I like I said, I don't think that Darvish like trade was. I think he just was kind of forced his hand to get rid of him
I think so too.
because it's obviously not a good return. I mean, you can easily.
No.
I mean, I don't know what the Padres have been doing, man, but dude, I don't think they gave up anything for Blake Snell either.
No.
Like, I don't know what the Rays are doing. This dude's a stud. Their rotation's going to be sweet. I'd love to be a Padres fan right now. Those guys are going to be nasty.
Hell yeah.
I don't even know if they really. Well, I guess the Padres got a decent fan base down there, but they might not necessarily appreciate enough of what they have down there yet.
They're gonna have more fans after this season. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
100%.
Holy smokes!
San Diego's not the biggest market, but I think they got a good fan base.
They got a cool stadium.
Yeah, they do.
They do got a cool stadium.
Sucks that the Chargers left.
Yeah.
That was just kind of shitty, but
What?
it's a different topic.
I heard it was because the San Diego mayor didn't want to build a new stadium. Didn't want to allow the Chargers to build a new stadium. So then the Chargers were like, all right, we're going to L.A.
We'll just
Wrap
fucking
it up
leave.
and go in LA. Yeah.
Go to that nice ass stadium. That $1 billion stadium.
I've heard the owner of the Jaguars is kind of a prick, or not the Jaguars, the Chargers is a prick
Oh.
too.